Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So let's do a monster review of Monst Bright, and yeah, I pulled him from the Mon Pass, and he is kind of the fifth newest Transcendent monster. So he came out a little bit over a month ago. But yeah, I feel that he's new enough that it'd still be relevant to do a review of him. And then at the second half of the video, I'm going to use him in Ragnarok. So for a lot of people, that might be kind of the main meat of this video, is to look at Ragnarok. And I do feel like I have a better understanding of that mission, so it could be interesting to have a look at that. But looking at Bright, he was one of the stronger monsters from those very early days. He was a bounce with no gravity barrier and minesweeper, and then a command strike shot. So yeah, pretty versatile. He can go to lots of kind of the earlier era quests, and then he had good damage output, both from picking up mines and then using the strike shot. And then, yeah, the Transcendent form is not too different. Stats are pretty good for a speed type. HP is a little bit low, attack is a little bit low, but decent for a Transcendent form. He picks up Minesweeper M, which means he'll get double damage when he picks up mines. And then no gravity barrier on the gauge. I mostly don't like no gravity barrier on the gauge. The big reason for that is because he can't move in command strike shots through gravity barriers. One good thing about it though is that you can miss the gauge on purpose, get caught in a gravity barrier, and then kind of improve your positioning that way. But that's kind of an expert technique, while everybody can benefit from having no gravity barrier during a command strike shot. And then he has the Soko Jikara, which means he'll get a buff to his attack with your HP under 50%. And then similarly, he has a new ability, the SS Turn Axle, where if your HP is below 50%, his strike shot meter will go up by 2 rather than 1. So yeah, that's kind of a faster way to charge up your strike shot. And then one nice thing about it is that this will happen every turn that you have less than 50 HP, even when it's not his turn. And then you also don't have to do anything yourself in order to make it work. There's a similar ability, the Strike Shot Reducer, but you have to go and you have to hit your teammates, and then every time you hit one of them you get a turn down. Sometimes you're not going to have a shot where that's really a good idea to go hit your teammates, and you might not be able to activate it. But yeah, with the turn axle thing, you don't need to worry about hitting your teammates, so that's nice. The luck skill is the bump combo critical, and that's really nice for him because his bump combo is the chain lightning. I believe he is the first character with bump combo critical and chain lightning. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, that can be very nice damage. And then this is also maybe the first time it's on a speed type. And then he's also the first one with a blast bump combo in combination with that chain lightning. And it's an interesting combination. I like blast bump combos on these Transcendent forms because it kind of frees up your max luck so that your max luck doesn't need a blast bump combo. And I went and checked my own max lucks, and there are no guys with flight, minesweeper, and then no gravity barrier with a blast bump combo. So that's kind of a, that's kind of a niche to fill there. What you can do, however, is that you can get Ashura Kai, the blast bump version of that. So yeah, that would be a minesweeper, no gravity barrier with a blast bump combo. But I think very, very few people are using Ashura, or even that version of Ashura, or even a max luck of Ashura. So yeah, very, very, niche-y role. And then finally, Monst Bright Strike Shot is the command strike shot, and then his is among the most powerful in the game. It's probably pretty similar to Nobunaga, the Transcendent form. That's the 28 turn version. And then he also has a 20 turn version, which is pretty quick for a command strike shot. And yeah, I still feel it's one of the best strike shots in the game. You can grab hearts with it, you can do lots of damage to either a screen full of mobs or just to a boss. So it's versatile like that. You can improve your positioning if it's bad. Yeah, you can do lots of things with it. And then as for quests that Bright is good for, there's the usual suspects like Fudomyo, Tsukuyomi. You could also use him in Memento Mori, that double null works in there. Yomi works in there as well. You could use him in Nirvana. That chain lightning is nice because there are characters with the weak point in the center of them, and then that's where that chain lightning hits. So that'll be good damage there. You could use him in Tsukuyomi Kai, and then Kadama. I think he could be pretty interesting in Kadama. There's lots of guys kind of packed together, so the chain lightning could do good damage there. And then you can use him in Ragnarok. I don't know if I recommend him for Ragnarok, but he has some interesting things going on in that mission. So we'll take a look at that in a second. As for Abelbear is good for him, I would say anything to raise his damage. So Kin Strength or Sidekick. Survivor would be interesting for him, because light characters take extra damage in Dark Quests. So to give him that, he would take less damage in Tsukuyomi, Yomi, guys like that. So yeah, I would say that Bright overall is not a flashy character in any way. There's no one thing about him that really stands out. But as a total package, I would say he's very well-rounded, very versatile, and he's going to be especially useful for people that don't have a lot of other characters, or for people that are climbing the tower and then finishing the watchtower every month. Okay, but that'll do it for the review there. Let's have a look at him in Ragnarok. Okay, here we are. So my max luck is Nirai Kanai, and he's great. He has Minesweeper and Null Gravity Barrier. And then his Null Gravity Barrier is on the gauge, so he's not going to be able to benefit from Bright's Command Strike Shot. But he will be able to miss the gauge in order to improve his positioning with the Gravity Barriers. And then, yeah, he is a Minesweeper, so I prefer him actually to like Queen Butterfly or Martini. They both have flight. Because the mines, especially in the later stages, they can be like one-hit KOs. They're very, very strong. So yeah, Nirai Kanai is my max luck of choice. Third character I'm using is Hannibal, and then him too, he is a flight, so he can't pick up the mines, so that's a little bit worrying. He has no gravity barrier passive in him though, so he'll be able to move with the Command Strike Shot. That does mean, however, that you can't miss the gauge, or else you're going to hit those mines and then take lots of damage. And then finally is Romeo. He has no gauge, so this can be good and bad. He will move with the Command Strike Shot through the gravity barriers, but you can't miss the gauge in order to improve your positioning. He has no chance of hitting the mines, however, so that's nice. However, he has flight rather than Minesweeper, so he will not pick up the mines. So for me, I would say the ideal characters are the ones with Minesweeper rather than flight. And then, yeah, I'd really like Sarasvati. She might be one of the very best for this quest. But yeah, she's got the Minesweeper and then the speed up bump combo. So that's very useful for all of your other characters. Alright, so let's look at the stage. This is the first stage, pretty straightforward. Pinch in that shield and then take down the pairs of guys. There's no real rush in order to get through this stage, but we have to make sure that the number in the center of monsters doesn't get to 0. So the top one there is at 4, bottom's at 7. So if we were to take down just one, we definitely want to go after the first one in this case. As long as neither of them get to 0, then we'll be okay. Alright, and then we're going to keep an eye on our HP, and then when it goes below 50, then Bright, he will get the attack up with the Soko Jikata, and then also he will get the SS Turn Axle. And then that has like a special aura looking thing, and then a special sound effect. So we'll keep an eye out for that, or keep an ear out rather. Oh, and Romeo, he also has a super null gravity barrier. So he'll get speed up every time he hits a gravity barrier, which is very, very helpful here. And one thing that I found surprising about Bright, using him here, is that his bump combo actually does very good damage against the little guys. I was not expecting that at all. If the weak points had been in the center of the enemies, then I would expect it to do a lot of damage, but yeah, it's pretty good damage here as well. Okay, so here, to talk about the angle that we want to use to get rid of the two Jormungandrs up there. The angle that I used with Bright there was pretty close to what I wanted. If he were a water type, he probably would have taken them both down. But yeah, do a shallow angle to the left, take down the Jormungandr on the left, and then we'll end up on the left of the other Jormungandr and hopefully take him down. Also, we can shoot from where Romeo is, do a more extreme angle where we hit the wall, hit the weak point, and then go over to the right and hit that other weak point. Yeah, just like we did there. Alright, we take them down, and then out come the Fenrirs. And then here we just want to do like a W angle, and then get rid of the 3 Fenrirs. However, if we start from where Nidaikanai is, I like to actually aim from the farthest one, and then just hope that I kind of come back, and then hit all of the rest. So yeah, that worked out. I don't know why, it just seems to work out that way. So yeah, that's how I handle when I'm kind of in between guys. Here again, we want to do the W. And then with Monst Bright, I know that I need to hit at least twice in those weak points. So I'll do a more shallow W than I would if I were using a water character. And then here with the Fenrirs, they have their weak points on opposite sides. So yeah, kind of the most traditional angle to be would be to shoot right, hit the wall, hit the Fenrir, go up and then around, come around, hit that Fenrir on the left side. Another thing you can do, I tried to do that with Hannibal, is to do a real shallow angle. This works better if you're coming from above the Fenrirs. But yeah, if I were like where Nidaikanai is, I could shoot to the right, hit that Fenrir on the right, and then kind of come down, hit the block, come up, and then go over to the left, and then hit that other Fenrir and take them down. But once they're gone, I want as many guys as I can to be below Ragnarok here. So we'll try to get under the block and then under Ragnarok. And the reason why I want to do that, of course, is to get rid of the boss. But it also set us up for the next stage. So I want to get as many guys in there as possible. And I would say it's pretty worth it, even, to try to not take down the boss, so that your other characters also get a chance to get under there. But 2 is enough, I would say. 2 is safe. Alright, and then the reason why we want to start down there is because it's a good place to start in order to take down these 3 Fenrirs. So if we start at the bottom, we can take down that first one down there, and then kind of move our way up. We'll take down the left, and then go over to the right, and take down that last one on the right. With Bright, I can kind of attempt to go from the top, but I find it's easier to go from the bottom, so we'll just wait until I think it's Romeo's turn, and then try to do that again. Yeah, so Hannibal, let's do a shallow angle down. I'm not very hopeful though. No, okay. Okay, so with Romeo, let's do a shallow angle to the upper right, and then see if we can make it all the way to that top Fenrir. Okay, perfect. So yeah, try to start this stage with as many guys at the bottom as possible. And then, yeah, if you do start with multiple guys there and you take down those Fenrirs on the first turn, that will also set you up for this Surutol pair. So if we start on the left, then we can hit the Suruto at the top from the bottom, hit that weak point, hit the wall on the right, and then come over and then take down that Suruto on the top there. One other thing that we can do, say we're starting like above where Hannibal is. We can come down, hit that weak point, come up, hit the right side of Ragnarok, and then go to the right and then take down that Suruto up at the top. That would be another way to kind of bounce around and get everybody. But just to make sure I had enough speed, with Hannibal we used his strike shot. And his strike shot charges up pretty quickly, so I don't feel too bad about using it there. And then the hitbox for this Ragnarok is very weird. For one thing, it's small, and for another thing, it's a little bit higher. It's not centered on that graphic. It's a little bit higher than that. So if you looked at the guide from where Romeo used his attack, you can kind of see where the hitbox ends and starts. And then here, of course, we want to do another W, but you can actually use the blocks in the lower left-hand corner to sort of either start or, you know, go to the left, hit those blocks, and then come back, and then complete taking down the little guys there. But once they're gone, then we have the two Jormungandrs, and then they have the weak points facing the same direction, so that makes it kind of difficult. One thing, however, that you can do is if you have a guy starting on the right of both of them, you can just do a left angle, just perfectly to the left. You'll hit that right Jormungandr multiple times, and then it will disappear, and then hopefully you have some speed left over that you can hit the left Jormungandr. This is pretty easy to do with Romeo because he gets the speed up from his super no gravity barrier, but it should be doable with other characters as well. Alright, so we have the boss by itself here, and then again we can look at the weak point and see that the hitbox is kind of funky. It's the same as the hitbox from the previous stage. So 1, it's small, and then 2, it's not centered on the artwork of the character. It's a little bit higher. So yeah, if we keep that in mind, that will help us in the previous stage, and then also maybe this stage as well. And then again, we want to start with as many characters at the bottom of the screen as possible. And the reason for that is because it will help us with this stage. We want to get rid of these 3 Jormungandrs in the same turn. It's easier if you start from the bottom. And then we'll kind of do like a W angle standing on its side. Here I'm going to use Bright's strike shot, more for the speed up and the power up. So hopefully that we can one punch these Jormungandrs and then take them all down. And if we miss, maybe we can, you know, get some other guys moving, get some bump combos out, and hopefully take them down. Okay, perfect. And yeah, I find that once we get to the boss stage, then we're taking more damage. So the chance of us being at less than 50% HP is higher. So that will set off Bright's, you know, kind of secondary abilities. And then here, I feel like this is the hardest shot in the entire mission. So let's use Hannibal's strike shot for the speed up. We came down, we hit that guy in the lower right. We went on the left side of Ragnarok, and then came up and hit the guy in the upper right. That was pretty much ideal, so that worked out very, very well. A little bit luck-based, because there were no irregular bounds. Oftentimes there are irregular bounds, so... Okay, so here with Nirai Kanai, I'm going to miss his gauge, so that I can slow down in the gravity barrier and then stay at the bottom half of the screen. Here too, we want to end the stage in the bottom half because that will help us with the next stage. Okay, so everybody's in pretty good position here. And then we want to start at the bottom because that will help us get rid of these 4 guys. Hannibal's in pretty good position as well. We'll just do a shallow angle and then try to hit all of the little guys. Not quite. But we did see how Bright's Chain Lightning Bump combo can really help with the damage here. Okay, again, shallow angle. We'll come up, we'll hit the two guys, hit the block, come down on the left, and then come over and get rid of those other two guys. And then, yeah, that's how we can get rid of all of them there. Okay, here again we have weak points on opposite sides, so we need to get around and then see if we can take down the guys. That was kind of an unfortunate irregular bound, but actually Ninai Kanai ended up in great position, so we're happy that he ended up there. Alright, and then it is possible to pinch in between the guys, so that was lucky. And then here, I'm going to try to end up with as many guys on the right side of Ragnarok as possible. That's another case of the design of the mission, where it kind of leads you into the next stage. So, alright, Romeo's in good position too. Okay, so here I did not take down the boss, but that's actually kind of lucky, because that gives Monst Bright a chance to also start in the upper right hand of this next stage. So I'm going to grab the heart, I'm going to miss the gauge, and hopefully get caught in the gravity barrier up there. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, and then with Hannibal, let's take down the boss here. Okay, pretty good. And then Romeo starts an excellent position for the final stage. Alright, so we're going to come down with a slight angle to the left and try to take down the Surutos all in one go. Okay, that's awesome. To be able to do that on turn 1 is really, really big. That's a big deal. And then, yeah, if we have any leftover guys in the upper right, that will help us with getting rid of the Jormungandrs here. If I had started this stage with Romeo, I could use the strike shot and then try to hit all of the 4 guys. And then that would get rid of all of the 2 Jormungandrs and also do good damage on the duplicate, which is the top Ragnarok there. And then you can do that if Romeo starts in between everybody, just with an up and down angle, just like slightly to the left, so you can hit everybody. And then, yeah, that'll be a good use of that. Alright, so let's use Bright's strike shot again, get some guys moving, hopefully take down that top guy there. Okay, not quite, but still very good damage, so we're looking pretty good. We're getting through this last stage pretty quickly. Alright, we'll take down the duplicate with Hannibal here. I considered using his strike shot, but I don't think I need it quite yet. Okay, so now it's just us and the boss. We took down the duplicate, so the blocks on the right come down. And that's the only place where the boss's weak point is going to come out. So now we need to get on the right side of the boss. I'm going to try that angle with Romeo. We were very lucky and we got in there, so we got some damage. With Ninai Kanai, he's in a tough position. The mines, they kind of worry me. So I want to pick them up. So let's pick them up here with that angle. Okay, almost perfect. With Bright, we'll just try to get in there. It actually might have been a good idea to miss that gauge so he gets stuck in there, but I decided not to. And then with Hannibal, let's use a strike shot. That will give him a kind of a barrier, so he won't take damage from the fire in case I end up on the left side. Thankfully I ended up on the right side, got in the damage, and then took down the boss. Okay, so that was kind of a more detailed look at Ragnarok. Also using Bright in there. Bright is definitely not one of the top recommended characters for this mission, but he has some kind of unique things that are good for him. His Chain Lightning Bump combo takes away more damage than I was expecting on the little guys, so that definitely helped with getting rid of some of those sets. And then of course his Command Strike shot is perfectly suited for this mission. Okay, but yeah, that was also a look at Monst Bright in particular. Not a flashy character in any one way, but kind of overall just very solid. Okay, thanks for watching and we'll see you again. Take care.